Yes, I know I don't need another goat, but this goat actually was born here and I brought her home. So long story short, Sky was born here on the farm. And after Sky's first freshening, I felt overwhelmed and I felt like I needed to move along some does because that's just what happens sometimes. Well, Sky came back up on the market about a week ago and I saw her come onto the market and I said, I want her because Pinky is my favorite doe and Pinky is her dam. So we welcome back Sky. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? So I'm actually getting ready to put her back in with my crazy crew back here. She's been clean tested, all the good things. She seems healthy enough, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and let her come back out. Come on out, baby. Here we go. What do you think? What do you think, Sky? Huh? What do you think, lady? What do you think? It's okay. It's okay. Hi. Hello. Hi. Tulip's looking at her. Who is this? Who dis? New phone. New phone. Who dis? Yeah, see, she's gonna go over there and start posturing like she's gonna beat somebody up, so. I'm not the craziest about her udder structure in the back, but I am crazy about her dam, and then I only have 2 other daughters, so she came back. And I love everything else about her. I'm gonna get him out and he'll be fine. Are you so perturbed? He is a menace. Look at that face. Definitely out to destroy the world of goats. Thank you for your service, sir. Okay, I'm getting it out, okay? And I am quite the ninny, and I'm gonna use a scoop. Because these are one of the few things that kind of like wig me out, the way they look and they feel. Hello, buddy. Hi, little toad. Hi, little toad. Hi, toad. Don't eat him. See? It's just a toad. Don't eat him. Don't eat him. Don't eat him. Hi, toad. Hi, toad. How about we go this way? We go this way. Come on. Here we go. Hello, buddy. Hi, toad. Hello. See, now you can have a drink. Is that why? You're so mad you couldn't get a drink. So I guess I should be happy that they're actually doing their jobs. He perceived that toad as a threat to the water supply. And I saw him from inside barking and kind of looking. I'm like, oh, he usually doesn't do that. So I just came out and looked. I'm so glad that crisis was averted from public enemy number 1, Mr. Toad. Let's tell him, say, you were just Cersei. You're just a Cersei boy, huh? Your job is done. Relax, dude. Now go eat all of the bad bugs in my garden, okay? Well, ready for our second chicken butchering class. I think today's gonna go pretty good. The reason we take it upon ourselves to teach classes like this is because we as Americans are very disconnected and just disjointed from where our food actually comes from. So I think it's important that if you have the ability to grow food for your community, you also have the ability to educate your community with hands-on classes or on demonstration at local fairs, events, or even if people just want to come and watch as you do specific things on your homestead and farm. We're never going to be able to change the system or the food system or anything for that matter if we don't start to educate people on it. And this is just a way that we do our part by inviting people onto the farm to see where their food comes from, how to grow it, how to process it, how to store it, and to have a little bit of a connection to their food again. You never know, one of these people at these classes could go on to start their own class. It could go on to start a nice little enterprise for themselves that benefits them, their community, their farms. It's just all around a good idea to try to educate those around us about clean, healthy, and self-sustainable food. All right, after a very long approach moving up to this class in preparation, because we tried, and you can tell by eggs under the eyes, guys, that we're very tired. We're very tired. We're getting towards the end of our season with goat showing, with milking, all the things, and this is going to be our last chicken processing class for the year. I'm excited though, because this is part of what we on Mulberry Branch Farm really push to do, and that's to educate people and to bring them into the fold for clean, sustainable food, where it comes from, how to grow it, how to preserve it, how to process it, because it only takes a generation for knowledge to be lost. And you know, I've been seeing a meme online a lot lately where it says, you weren't born in the wrong time period, you were born to keep the old ways alive. And I really felt that, like, deep down in my heart, because not everybody can live this lifestyle. Not everybody's going to want to grow their own chickens and butcher them and process them. I understand it's not for everybody, but as long as there are a few of us out there that know how to do this, we keep the knowledge and the practice alive. And that's good for our local economy. That's good for our health. That's good for our community. That's good for our country. That's just good for freedom overall. There's several in here like this. So we've got smut growing on our corn, but it looks like it's like on the top of our corn, like right past the tassels. So like it looks crazy. Usually you'll see a lot of smut like down in the ears, but because it's been so hot and so humid, it's just been a total breeding ground. But you guys can see our sweet corn's coming in real good. All of it's from Haas, and it actually did have a really good germination rate. Yeah, I see what you're doing to pass the time. I was wondering why it was in the feed bowl. You just get done drinking? Do you get done drinking and then you just make it a toy? Huh? At least you're easily entertained, huh? Sweet boy. Well, guys, I know that it is the middle of August when I am recording this vlog for you, and it just is that point in the year where things just start to feel like they're winding down. They're slowing down a little bit. Don't get me wrong, we still have these bouncing babies. We have shows on the horizon. We have lots of new things coming to the farm to kind of help us out and to make sure that we are as fruitful and productive and prepared as we possibly can be. Like this harvest rate freeze dryer that we've gotten. Mark and I both work 9 to 5 jobs, and we get a little bit pressed for time when it's harvest season. And preserving our food is very, very important to us. Hopefully, this freeze dryer is going to give us the most bang for our buck to be able to pull things in, prepare them quickly, and to preserve them. I can't wait to see what adventures we have with this, and we will definitely be sharing some videos with this with all of you, even though this is pretty much Mark's baby. Even though we find it hard to balance our time, I know that each and every one of you live busy lives too. We all have things that pull our attention in a million different directions, and yet I cannot help but feel so blessed that we still have people that visit us every time there's a video. They leave comments, they leave their reactions, they subscribe, they follow us. And I'm just really happy that I get to bring people along on our journey. I know sometimes I'm not the most well-crafted in producing videos or sharing our life with you guys, especially when it comes to our busy season and not really being timely with my videos. But it has been just a blessing forming relationships with this community that we're creating through our channel. I can't tell you how wonderful it feels to feel like we're helping other people along on their journey without even having like that face-to-face interaction. If it weren't for you guys, I really wouldn't do this channel. We're cleaning up our garden. It's fall time. The weather doesn't feel very fall-like, but we're in that Indian summer, and fall's going to be here before you know it, and I might as well take good advantage of these days where it's not too hot enough to break a sweat, but not so cold that I am bundled up or I'm a little uncomfortable out here doing anything. Today we're in the garden, and we're in the in-ground garden. Corn did great this year. We freeze-dried a ton of it. We ate a lot of it. We gifted a lot of it. This is what gardening is about to me, is putting back for my family, enjoying it when it's in season, and also sharing it with other people so that they find a love for nutritious, farm fresh, raw foods that they need to know what real food looks like, tastes like, feels like, all of the above. But that's a totally different video to talk about when it comes to raw materials and homesteading and people just not knowing what real food is about. You can see I have cut down a ton. And I only have a little bit left over here, but I have cut down a ton of the sweet corn stalks that are already harvested. They're starting to dry out, but it's kind of nice because if we get in here, you guys can see like the stalks actually still have quite a bit of color on them. And even like the stalks down here, like I can break this husk on the outside and it's nice and green. So this is a good time to put this up. And don't get me wrong, I wish I would have done this a little bit sooner where I could actually had greenery, green leaves. But honestly, this year has been really weird. We've gotten a lot of rain here in Indiana at the beginning of the season, like lots of rain, like wet, parasite, pneumonia, heaven. And then we got really, really dry here in the last month. We are like just begging for rain at this point. So everything went from being green and lush, like you can see the iron, is that ironweed behind me? I think it's overgrown ironweed behind me. And went from green and lush to dried out and ready to become some goat fodder. So we do this every single year. If you've been on our channel long enough, you know, you've seen me out here cutting down stalks, binding them, putting them up in the loft because nothing should go to waste here on a farm. And quite honestly, even if I went in here at the end of the season and just mowed it all down and put it back into the ground, it would still be going to use because anything, even after it's dead and gone, for what I can use for my uses as a human being, goes right back into the soil. I mean, really, that's what this is about. The bad thing, though, and why I usually have to either rip these up by the roots or cut them down, is this right here. You see all this loveliness that makes it to where I don't have to pull weeds at all during the season? Well, at the end of the season, unless I'm growing something a lot less stockier and big, I really need to come back down through here and I need to cut everything off or pull it out at the root so that I can pull up all of this landscape tarp, all this gardening tarp that is both porous enough to let the water in, but is solid enough to keep the weeds from growing up. I have to be able to pull that back up so that I can reuse it. And we pull it up every single year. We roll it up, we stack it, we fold it, and we put it in a barrel and wait for next year. But before I can do that, it means that all of these stalks have to come up off of this area. And quite honestly, that's what all of the rest of this is going to be. Cut it and just throw it over and let them pick through it. I'm probably going to cut this down and I'm not going to bundle it. I'm probably going to let them do their thing because honestly, there's other forms of fodder back in here and one is right behind me. This is honey locust from our area and you guys can see it's so green, but I don't know if you can see. There are thorns all through this. This thorn right here has, oh, I just got myself on the one below it, but this thorn right here, the camera will focus on it. It makes it to where they're really, really hard to work with. They're hard to work around. Even these small branches have thorns all over them. They poke me, they prick me, they hurt me, they do all the things, but the goats freaking love them. So when I'm done over here with the corn, I've actually got a lot of locusts trying to grow up through here where a tree fell years ago. And you can actually kind of still see that tree up there. That's one of its branches. But these locust saplings are starting to take over. And honestly, those are really good fodder to put up as well. Now, because of said tree falling in that area, I won't be able to let my goats back in here. We used to pull this up and let the goats come in and clean this up because of that tree. And that we haven't repaired that fence and we haven't pulled that tree off of it completely. And now that we have Rex, our livestock guardian dog, it's just not a good idea to open this up where there's a place where Rex can get out. Rex loves his girls. He will stay with his girls, but boy, he is still a puppy at 1.5 years old and he loves himself a good adventure. But I don't know what he's going to decide. Some of you might also ask, is it even worth doing all this work for your goats? Is it worth fodder-wise, impact-wise? Does it make a big impact? And yes and no, but for me, it's more about stewardship, stewarding to abundance. And the way that we do that is that we go the extra mile. That's all useful. That's all useful. Is his and what he needs to protect and who's going to protect it against, so therefore he has to stay in this landscaping fence. Material down Yeah, I could. I absolutely could. But here's the thing. Through stewardship, you have to learn that there's this cyclical balance that depends on you to do your part in order for the land to do its part for you. So while I could leave this down and I could just let everything die off and go at it next year, I'm still going to have to do work at one point. If I leave this material down, which comes in big, huge rolls, it's really, it's not super expensive, but it's not inexpensive. I want to get as much life out of my investment as I can. So it's important that to get the investment out of it, to get the most bang for my buck, I do the work to pull the corn cobs, the corn stalks up that feed my goats, that nourish them, that help them carry good, strong babies in the winter months, because dairy goats normally gestate during the winter time, and we try to shoot for spring kiddings here, even though we've got a couple sprinkled in here in the off season for milk production purposes. I'm taking from this soil. If I grow anything on this soil, I'm taking something out of it. In order for the corn to grow and to produce corn, it has to pull nutrients from the soil. If I leave this down, it wears out. The sun weakens it because it's a form of plastic, guys. The sun is going to do its due diligence on it, and it's going to weaken it, dry it out, crack it, then it's going to be worth nothing, and I'll have to go back and put more down if I want to keep doing it this way, which I really like doing it this way. This is the 3rd year doing this. I'll never go back because I don't have time for weeds. But because I'm taking nutrients and I'm going to pull this up to save the tarp, I then have the ability to amend the soil. Now, the corn goes to feed the goats. The corn goes to feed us. The goats, from eating said corn stalks, will in turn do what most animals do, and that's poop. They'll poop a lot. They'll have a lot of waste that comes off of anything that they're eating. So the nutrition that they pull from the corn stalks is great for them, for their babies in utero, and then comes out in the form of manure. Manure then goes back to replenish the soil that I've taken nutrients out of in order to grow the corn. So there's this cyclical balance here. So is it worth it? Is it make a big dent in the feed bill? With the size of my herd that I've got here, every little bit counts. If any of you are feeding animals and you're still feeding out of bags, which I really would like to try to get away from feeding out of bags, which means going to, Tractor Supply or a local feed co-op and buying. I would rather feed them from my land. This does help. This helps. It frees me up to get to nutrients and resources behind it, just all the way around. That extra work, I have to put something in to get something out. And I think that's what our society is. Guys, listen to me loud and clear. That is what our society is missing nowadays. What you put in is what you get out. You can't just keep taking from the land and keep expecting it to give you more and more and more. If you want abundance, if you want a return on your dollar, on your time, Zip Physics is agreeing with me, Miss Zippy. You get out what you put in. If I put nothing in, I should expect nothing out. And if I take everything, I should expect that it has nothing left to give, and I won't be able to take anything back out unless I give back to it. I could preach all day on this, guys. I really could, about how stewardship leads to abundance, and not only in this lifestyle, but if more people understood this, understood where their food came from, if they understood all of the work that it takes, if they understood the cyclicalness of homesteading and saying, I'm going to get out what I put in, and I'm going to put in what I want to get out, then our society would be much better off. We would understand give and take, but nowadays it's just gimme, 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 gimme. Go to Walmart, pick it up, don't care what's in it, don't care what I put in my body. And people are starting to wake up. And let me tell you, this life is hard work. Abundance requires input. Abundance requires stewardship. Abundance requires you to put in what you want to get out. I'm lousy at stacking and throwing by myself. Marking jar out, so it's just as a one-woman show at the moment. But you can tell it's all laying pretty low, but that's everything that we've got bundled. There's probably about 10 to 12 bundles in here. And usually normal winters, we go through about like one of those a week just to kind of give them something a little extra that gives me a break on my hay. Gives them something to do, because really they have got to be bored just eating hay and grain. It's just got to get boring. So I decided that I'm going to pull in that fodder. I will probably try to get in some locust bundles. They're still green. Now they will dry out up in the loft, but I'm hoping that they'll still give them added nutrients that they can't otherwise get from normal forage in the winter, which is like nothing. Because once we get our hard frost, like a lot of this is going to just die back and just be done. The leaves are going to fall off of things. I don't think we're close yet, but it is September 18th. Last show of the season for goats is this weekend, so I am both mourning and rejoicing to say bye to that busy portion of the year and catch up around here. Because I got some things I need to catch up on around here, guys, and I got some big news. I got some new herd sires coming in, and I've got some herd sires that after being on my farm since babies, bottle babies, it's time for them to go. And it might be a good ending for them. It might be a useful ending. We gotta just wait and see. The market is real bad this time of year for goats, especially right now.